Welcome back to a weekend edition of Maniacal Music Musings. Yes, we're back on a weekend. We haven't done this in a long time, and it's always fun to do a weekend one because I'm more awake, which makes it better for me. But you all know me. Your purified host, Jeremy, here in the 11th hour. I'm not a serial killer just yet. I may be the alien. I don't know. I'm working on that. But here as always to provide you with some great music ideas. And you all know my co-host. He's a devil in God's country. He came to take your soul as the palace burns tonight. Chancy motherfucking Greif.
Hi.
Every time. And of course, we cannot be maniacal without a guest. So we brought an actual musician this time, which is always the best type of shows we do is with the actual musicians. And that is Phry McDunstan, German guitarist and musician who has some really freaking awesome music, which we'll talk about in a minute. But first things first, how you doing today, Phry?
Hey everyone, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. So glad to be here and talk about some great music. So yeah, I think this is gonna be so cool.
Well, we're glad to have you. And I, with everything's going on with my dog this week, as all my followers know about, because I've been posting about it on Facebook. But with everything's going on with the dog, I honestly haven't had a chance to actually make up anything for the show till today. So I literally realized 3 hours ago, I'm like, oh yeah, he is a musician. Because Phry just filled out a form to be in the show, and I emailed him and we got him on the show. I forgot to look into who he is until today because I literally been spending every day away from home, either at work or in the hospital with my dog. So it's been a very busy couple of days. But once I heard your music today, I was like, oh my God, this is good. I turned to my wife, I'm like, it kind of sounds like Kurt Cobain in a way almost. And she's like, I don't hear that. But she's like, I hear definitely almost like a Creed type sound, which I'm like, all right, that's not bad either.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Chancy?
I don't necessarily see either or, really. I don't see either of those. It's kind of a.
There was a 90s singer. It sounded like I couldn't put the name to it. That's what it was. There was a 90s singer. It sounded like, but I couldn't put the name to it.
I honestly can't think of anything to compare from the. I think I got through 4 to 6 tracks because I went through both of them and listened to a couple 3 off of each one, and the guitar kind of reminded me of some of it was almost kind of felt like an Iron Maiden-y guitaring, whether it be with the chugs, the triplets, and then the different low end. There was I loved how it wouldn't always stay in one section of the guitar. One song would be low end, and then another one would be melodically middle or high. It was. I liked that. I liked that change of palette.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the guitar was amazing. And the singing was great too. That was the thing. I'm like, wow, this guy is a double threat here. He can do both. It's pretty impressive. Because I mean, we've had some musicians that were supposed to be on the show before, but then they back out last minute, and we were Chancy's oh, I wanted to go on their music so hard. He's they're not good artists, but with you, it was just Chancy's Chancy's it's good. I'm good. We both like it. That's even better. As my dog tries
that's
to
so cool, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, and you're definitely right about the 90s stuff because Nirvana actually hasn't really had that much of an influence, but I'm a huge grunge guy, so it's more bands like Alice in Chains that did it for me, and Soundgarden, and a bit of Pearl Jam as well. And the instrumental stuff, I'm a huge fan of Joe Satriani. So he's had a huge influence on my playing, but also other guitarists like Jeff Beck, who recently passed away, sadly. And also probably my main influence on the guitar would be Slash, because he's responsible for me picking up the guitar in the first place. So it's and I'm also a huge Led Zeppelin fan, so that's why you hear so many different musical styles in there. I always try, just like Zeppelin did back in the day, to have a funk song here, then a blues tune there, and maybe some more metal stuff, and then more classic rock stuff. So the versatility of when I write an EP or an album. I wanted to sound as versatile as possible.
Which, yeah, you can hear that. You can totally freaking hear that. And I see. I'll get to this more when I get to my pick, but I gotta ask: are you a fan of Nightwish?
Oh no, I'm actually like I don't really want to bullshit you because I'm not really much of a metalhead. So like both of your albums were like outside of my comfort zone. So
no.
Well, okay, I'm glad I didn't pick Nightwish for this episode then, because that was actually one of my original thoughts. But
okay,
then I picked my pick because I just happened to. Well, I'll get to that when I get to my CD. But so you kind of already said why you brought your CD, but
yeah,
you can go into it a little more. What CD did you bring, and why did you bring it there, Phry?
I brought Slash's Snakepit's second album. It's called Ain't Life Grand.
They say I'm crazy, falling apart. Do you like the way I'm burning your heart? I'm smart, I'm cagey, I come in the night. If you let me in, you'll give up your life.
Because to me this is has always been a meaningful album, and I think this is, like, apart from the Guns N' Roses stuff, obviously, I think this is Slash's best work outside of that. And I really dig the singer. His name is Rodney Jackson. He unfortunately has always had like issues with heroin and other stuff, so he never really made it big. Like he had his one chance working with Slash on that album, and after that he kind of disappeared. But I think he has like the perfect voice for this bluesy based hard rock that Slash is known for. Yeah, that was actually my second pick. My first pick would have been an album by an English rock band called the Wild Hearts. But on that album there were so many like really, really long songs, and I didn't want to like burden you with listening to like a real long album. So I picked the Snakepit one because that's actually has been a real influential album also on my stuff. So I hope you liked it.
Well, Chancy, what did you think of Slash's Snakepit?
Honestly, it's funny because like I like Slash as a player, like a guitar player. I've heard of the band. I never actually listened to any of their albums until preparing for this episode, and I noticed that it was a little difficult for me to get into. Nothing bad, like no real terrible anything about it. I noticed that on a lot of the songs, the vocals seem kind of one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the only complaint that I had about it. So I don't quite feel quite as bad for both of us having to kind of get out of our comfort zone in our wheelhouse. When he's like, I'm not much of a metalhead, I'm like, oh, fuck.
The hardest albums in my collection would be those of Alice in Chains and Tool, maybe. So
nice.
Apart from that, it's mostly rock.
Which is funny because Chancy just brought Alice in Chains on our Tuesday episode this past week.
Yeah,
and he's
Jar of Flies.
That's my favorite EP ever. Like every song on that is perfect, amazing. Like I can listen to that every day.
He's brought 2 Tool albums in the past as well. So
yeah.
2 of my 4 favorite albums. I like their first 4.
Yeah.
The other ones they're not bad, but it's almost like they're lacking that the latest
one.
And 10,000 Days, like they both kind of lack that. It was almost like they almost felt like a conflation between A Perfect Circle and Tool.
Yeah.
With those 2 albums there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I liked Fear Inoculum. It was pretty good.
I think
But,
they've never made a bad album, but like like you said, like the first 4 albums are like something else, you know, like they're really really up here, you know.
Yeah, which I mean, it's funny because the album Chancy brought, I can't wait to get to that just for other reasons. But I mean, I never heard of Slash's Snakepit before this episode. Like, I looked when I went to look at the band and like try to find out something to compare it to. I was like, I wonder if it's actually Slash from Guns N' Roses. And then like, as soon as I read the profile on Spotify, well, I didn't know if someone just picked that name out of like a freaking hat for their band. Like, I didn't know. Like, and like I looked at the profile on Spotify.
Pun intended.
Yeah. But I looked at the freaking profile on Spotify and I'm like, the first line was like, well, after his problems with Axl Rose, I was like, oh, it is him. Okay. But,
yeah. And there's actually like 2 different incarnations of the band. Like the first record, It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere, was like there were some ex-Gunners on there as well, like Gilby Clarke on the rhythm guitar, and also Mike Inez from Alice in Chains on the bass, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
And Matt Sorum on drums. So it was like more like all songs that Axl didn't want to do. So Slash just started like a side project out of necessity. And like the first album is also great, but like I said, I really like Rodney Jackson, and so I picked the second one. See, so Chancy, you would have probably then preferred the first album more if you think like Rod's voice is a little like monotonous, or it's not that
I mean, I didn't necessarily think it was monotonous. I mean, one dimensional I kind of used as a generalized statement. Because I mean, they weren't. It wasn't like cookie cutter. Because like each song, like the words and how he put them out fit the songs. But it was just kind of like there wasn't much change, like as far as like tonality, or like.
I mean, to me, it sounded like a 80s, early 90s like rock band. That's what it sounded like, and that's what it's meant to sound like. I mean, that's the best way. I mean, it sounded like I don't want to say Scorpions because his voice is unique as hell. But like it just sound like a lot of like those 80 rock bands that like people get confused if they don't know who sings what song. and it's funny that you didn't. It's funny that you say you didn't want to bring a CD because of longer tracks, because I've made Chancy listen to a 20-minute track before. So,
yeah.
I made him listen to Nightwish's Greatest Story Ever Told, and that's like a 21-minute track. So
it really is.
It's an amazing 21-minute track, but it truly is like the definition of great music. But
right,
Chancy, you liked it. You liked it. Don't lie.
Amazing.
Yeah.
They go through so many different. They go through so many different sounds in that song, dude. Come on, you know it's amazing. But
no, it wasn't bad. I'm just joshing you.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, it was. He didn't mind it, but he doesn't love it as much as I do. But very few people love Nightwish as much as I do. So it's just one of my favorite. And I asked that because you're from Germany, and I'm like, Finland's not far away, so maybe he probably had more exposure to Nightwish than I did growing up. So.
No, like Finland is almost like an entirely different world, like compared to Germany, because they're like it's like really fucking cold up there, and like music wise, they're more into like black metal and all that real evil stuff, you know, and like people up there are actually like really really depressed because of like the darkness and the cold weather, so it's very different from Germany.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
oh no, it's definitely different. I mean, I've been to Germany. It's definitely different than Finland.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
And I mean,
sure
even in Germany here, we like if you go to Bavaria, it's completely different from where I live or from the north. So even though Europe is not as like huge as the US. it's still also like very, very like a versatile,
Diverse.
continent
Yes.
and diverse. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I understand that 100%. It's just, I mean, I don't know. I figured you'd have more exposure to a European band than I would. Like, until, like, because I didn't discover them until way after they started, because I discovered them randomly, really. On like LimeWire back in the day, but it's just the way it goes. But as far as Slash's Snakepit goes, I enjoyed it. Like, overall, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say something I would listen to like on a daily basis, but I definitely enjoyed it. It sounded like like I said, it sounded like an 80s rock band, which I love a lot of 80s rock bands. So I'm not a lot of ones from Europe too, and Germany. So I'm not gonna like hate on it, because it was a great CD. And I mean, Slash's guitar playing is always amazing. I saw Slash perform live with Motley Crue.
Oh yeah. You mean like as an opening act with Miles Kennedy?
No, he actually, it was a Motley Crue Aerosmith concert, and like when Motley Crue came out, like halfway through their set, like Slash just came out and started playing guitar in their songs.
Oh, sweet! I didn't know he ever did that.
It was like back in 2010, 2000. It was like back like 2008, I think. So
cool.
I mean, it was, I don't know what he was doing professionally at that time, because Guns N' Roses really isn't. They haven't put out
that was like post Velvet Revolver, and then when he started his solo career with Miles Kennedy, and he did like an album where he had like lots of different singers on it.
I mean, I wouldn't even know it was him at that age, but I saw the hat, and once everybody knows that hat. So
yeah.
But I mean, I think he came out actually during Dr. Feelgood, and like
cool.
Like he came out and started playing the guitar on, and I was like, oh, like, and my dad's like, that's Slash, and I'm like, he's like, what the hell is he doing here? Like, because like my dad's not. I'm like, I have no idea, but then I got distracted because Tommy Lee was rolling around in a cage playing drums. So
I mean, Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue have toured together back in the day, and I've also read Slash's autobiography, and they were getting along like pretty well, like with all the debauchery and whatnot. So
I mean, I
really
read
sense for him to play with them.
I read Motley Crue's biography, and like they talk about Slash in it as well. So like that book is fucking incredible.
I saw that movie on Netflix the other.
I haven't watched the movie yet. I keep wanting to. I just haven't had a chance to yet, because
it's not bad.
It's cool. It's pretty funny. Like,
it looked funnier from the previews. I mean, and Machine Gun Kelly as Tommy Lee. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, that's part of the reason I hesitated.
I did. Oh, I didn't actually know it was him. Like,
I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, all the actors did actually. Like also the guy from Game of Thrones as McMars. He was also pretty cool. And now that you say it, like, I actually didn't know who Machine Gun Kelly was when I watched that film, because it's also like been a year or something, and I only heard of that guy like fairly recently, like when he did that embarrassing System of a Down cover on Howard Stern's show.
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, when they played Ariel, it's like, oh man, that was.
I have to
so bad.
I got to YouTube that now so I can see it, but I mean,
it's awful.
I'm sure it
like,
is.
I remember reading the comments, like somebody wrote, Eminem destroyed MGK's rap career, and MGK just destroyed his rock career.
I mean, I was gonna say Eminem already tore him apart. Like, of course he's gonna try something that he can't do. Like, you can't do System of a Down unless you are System of a Down. Like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Like Serge's voice is so incredible and unique. It's like covering an Aerosmith song or a Guns N' Roses song, for that matter. Like, these singers, they have like such a unique approach, and like such a high, they can go into such high registers, and it's really hard to cover that stuff.
Oh, it is. I mean, I would not wish any rock artist to try to cover like System of a Down. Like, there are plenty that try to cover the band I brought today, and some of them can do a decent job, but none of them could ever do it fully either. It's just like, covering songs is just such a hard thing to do unless it's like a older band, like from the 70s maybe, and then like if they had a generic voice, then you can get away with it. But if their voice is anything unique, you're screwed.
Right. Like, or you just take it and like really make it your own, but you have to be to to be good to do that. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, do you know the song "The Passenger" by Iggy Pop? Like this really like from the 70s.
Did you say Iggy Pop?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Iggy Pop. The
Yeah,
Passenger.
yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah.
And there's a cover of that song by Michael Hutchins from In Excess, like the late singer from In Excess. And like he took
was
this
so good.
pretty upbeat song by Iggy with these like forbidden chord progression that's now been used like a million times, like over the past couple of decades. And he turned it into like something completely different. Like the only thing that's still the same is the lyrics. Like you couldn't even like if you didn't know the lyrics, you couldn't even tell it's a cover. And I think that's like the right approach to do a cover. Like really make it your own and maybe change it a bit or even a lot, because otherwise it's just like the original but with a different singer or like different musicians, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually going to be doing something with covers in this show in the future. I have an idea for like a special we're going to do eventually, but I'm still working on that, so I'm not going to reveal anything about it now. But what were your top 5 songs from your album? I'm kind of curious to hear if they match up or not.
Like from the Slash album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just quickly look up the track list here. My favorite is definitely Landslide, because I like the the guitar part. It kind of goes into a AC/DC "You Shook Me All Night Long" direction, and it's pretty cool. Then Serial Killer is great. Like that's actually very progressive for Slash, and the guitar solo is pretty like more like harder to play than the rest. Then Speed Parade, because that's like the heaviest song on the album, and it's pretty cool. And then Back to the Moment, because I'm really a sucker for ballads, and that one's like really tasteful, and I like the long outro part where Slash plays a cool melody over the regular chord progression. And since I'm a musician, I always enjoy that kind of stuff, like unusual arrangements or cool melodic parts in there, and production when the production is really great. So that would be my top 5.
Yeah, some similar ones, but Chancy, what were yours?
I actually had one honorable mention, which was Serial Killer.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 5 for me was Just Like Anything.
Oh, yeah.
And number 4 was Back to the Moment.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 was The Alien. 2 was Ain't Life Grand. And number 1 was Speed Parade.
Yeah, that's the lead single.
It was? Really?
Yeah. They also that's the only music video that you can find from the album.
Interesting. Well, like Chancy here, I had an honorable mention as well. And my honorable mention was Ain't Life Grand, the title track. But my number 5 was Shine, because that song was incredible. Number 4 was Been There Lately. I love the lyrics in that song. So number 3 was Back to the Moment, because like you, I'm a sucker for a good ballad, especially in like something that sounds like 80s rock. So I mean, that was a very well done ballad, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Number 2 was Serial Killer, because I didn't expect number 2 and number 1. I didn't expect these songs to come from this CD, and that's why they're the top 2. But Serial Killer is definitely number 2, and then like I thought I had a top 5 at this point, but then I got to the last track on the fucking album, and I was just like, I heard the Alien, and one, as a paranormal podcaster, I had to fucking love that song. And 2, I mean, just his tone of voice when he's singing in that song, and like the lyrics to that song and the guitar, everything about that song was just freaking miraculously amazing. And I'm like, what a way to end a fucking album. Oh my God. Like, I'm like, that's number 1. That's number 1. Sold. Like, it was just such a good song. Like, and Serial Killer was too, but I love hardcore rap, so whenever I hear serial killer, I've heard a lot of rappers do songs called serial killer, and like I was kind of expecting that almost because that's just what plays in my head when I hear those words. And I mean, I wasn't disappointed by what I heard, but it was different. Like it was different. I mean, it was a good CD, and I thought it was Slash singing. Actually, that's the whole thing because I actually thought it was Slash singing the album because I'm like, is he actually like it's this Slash decided to sing his own album? Like what the fuck? Like, and like I didn't know it was a different singer because I don't think I ever heard Slash actually speak, so I don't know what he sounds like. But I don't think I have. I could have. It's very possible I have, but I just don't think I have. I'm not much for watching interviews and stuff with musicians. It's just not my thing. But so I mean, overall though, like I said, it was a good CD and I enjoyed it. It was a good ride to work CD, definitely.
Cool.
But I think next we'll go with Chancy's album just because get it out of the way.
That was like Lamb of God.
Yep.
Oh, I love how he knows that without even being told.
Yeah, I mean, since your name is Son of the Morning Star, on your profile,
I gave it away. I gave it away. Damn it!
I kind of put 1 and 1 together, or 2 and 2 together.
I applaud that. But Chancy, why did you want to bring the CD?
Honest opinion or honest answer, I should say. What I did was went and hit shuffle. That's usually what I do. Like whenever there's something going on, unless there's like an obvious theme, like on Tuesday where everything came out in the same year, and then other stuff where it's like, oh, well, I can kind of fine tune my selection based on XY parameter.
Like our soundtrack episode that just released yesterday.
Right. A lot of times I just go to because I use like YouTube Music and I have just like a ridiculously long list. So I'll just hit shuffle and whatever comes up first, then I'll just throw it out there. And unless it's like, I've got this one in my head and I've been thinking about it and I'm going to do this. So funny thing, like I hit shuffle and Rammstein came up. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna, and then he's like, well, he's German, and I was like, no, like, no, I'm not gonna be that cliche. So then I hit, shuffle again, and 11th Hour came on, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good. As the Palaces Burn is a good album. I personally like, like both playing guitar and having been in choir from when I was in school and stuff. I really like, especially about heavy metal, how the human voice becomes more of an instrument than in a lot of other genres of music. Like, the singer, the lyrics, and the vocals are very important in all music when it comes to that kind of stuff, unless it's an instrumental or whatever. But like with heavy metal, for me, the more difficult if you want to call it a trick or whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's a guttural or a shrill or a whatever, the more difficult that it is, or the fact that if it's just one person doing it, those things really weigh in on my opinion. And Randy Blythe has this voice that's just got such a range. And, people talk about singing ranges and they're always talking about melodic singing. But this guy has a range for guttural. Like, he can go from deep, deep guttural, just and just in one single motion, take it up to a high shrill, just from low to high. And that's tough to do just singing, not let alone muscle control, breath control, diaphragm control, everything, all those things coming into play. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with this one. If I'd have known you weren't as much of a metalhead, you know, I would have probably hit shuffle one more time and saw what I came up with, and went with a best out of 3 kind of scenario.
Well, as the guest, Phry gets to tell you what he thinks of your album next.
Okay, so
And
Don't hold back. I was gonna say,
no.
don't hold back.
No Vaseline.
When I first put on like Ruin, I was actually going for a walk outside, and I thought I could just like check the album out at first, and then I heard like the first 3 songs, and I was already like, oh shoot, man, this kind of sounds all the same, and it's like I'm not really a fan of these like growling guttural vocals and stuff. So, but I also didn't just want to like come here and shit on the album because that's stupid. So I thought, okay, what I'll do is, because I like, obviously like the drums are cool, and it's really like the guitars are cool, the arrangements are also pretty cool. And then I thought to myself, okay, well, I just like rate everything like from a lyrical standpoint, guitars, drums, and arrangement. Like I actually took some notes here and I just gave everything like a rating from 1 to 10. But now here's the thing. When I went through the songs and I checked out the lyrics and then I gave it a chance, which is why like the ratings here, like the numbers, they go higher and higher from song to song, because like I figured, wow, especially the lyrics are fantastic, man. These are some of the best lyrics I have ever like read. Like this guy, he really has something to say, and there's almost no cliches in there, and they're very like he's very articulate and pretty interesting approach, and also I'm always about I like is like a different approach to things, and actually seeing that said person, like if it's a guitarist, a drummer, or a singer, actually took their time with everything and put a lot of thought into it. And so like as the album progressed and I listened to the songs, I like them better and better. So like my favorite songs, like my top 5, are actually all like the final 5 songs, and the honorable mention would be 11th Hour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, see, when Chancy chose Lamb of God and I saw that, I was like, oh God, I checked them out once in high school and I wasn't a fucking fan of them in any sense of the word. Like, I am not a big fan when I can't understand lyrics. Like, it's just, I listen to music for lyrics mainly. I appreciate guitar. I was a drummer in high school, in middle school, so I appreciate drums to some degree because my dad was a drummer too and actually like bands. But so I appreciate drums. I appreciate guitar to a level too, because it's a big talent to play guitar. I know that, so I appreciate it when it's done right. But and it's funny because this CD, I didn't realize I started listening to it yesterday, is actually the CD I picked up in high school and listened to.
Ah!
I think I actually bought it at FYE back in the day because I saw the cover and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I think it was like on the clearance. I think it was on the clearance rack for like freaking $5. But so I was like, sure. And which I should have known. I should have known it was on the clearance rack. There's reasons, but I enjoyed it, and same as you though, Phry. Like the lyrics. That's like I was listening to it on Spotify. I would always like swipe up to see the lyrics as they sing them, and like the lyrics are what do it. I mean, but the shit he's talking about, you can sing it like System of a Down and still like say what you have to say and actually let people hear your words. Like it's just that's my.
That would have changed the entire dynamic of the sound of the band. That
wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, I would have to disagree on that though.
Of course you do.
Well, hear me out. You got the grit of everything. Like everything has a gritty nature about it, which suits the actual topics being discussed. It talks a lot about the gritty, soft underbelly of life and society and people,
Yeah.
vices. It's if you're singing that, like our Father, thy will be done. No, dude, you can take that idea and shove it right back into Massachusetts, bro. Keep that shit in the Northeast side, man.
I mean, I appreciate
Yeah, but there's
God.
also like there's a middle ground between that and that, you know. But
I can
yes,
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Like
And
when I yeah.
it's called Cradle of Filth. That's the middle ground because you can understand half of their lyrics at least.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's the middle ground. Like you do the guttural stuff, but you do like actual singing in parts of the song as well. Like
I mean, like
it's
when I read the liner notes and I saw that Devin Townsend produced the album, I knew exactly why it sounded like it sounded. Because like he made some of the heaviest music out there, and yeah, that was like he was like the right person to pick like as a producer.
I mean, I overall enjoyed it. I mean, the lyrics, especially like if you're watching the lyrics as the song goes through, like you're kind of like, I get it. I can hear because if I see the lyrics, I can hear him saying the lyrics.
Mm-hmm,
but if I don't see the lyrics, it sounds like like it sounds like all the people on South Park talking when they're all pissed off, like like that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like,
nah, I mean, yeah,
if I can't see the lyrics, that's what it sounds like to me. But
I really enjoyed the arrangements, especially on like the final 5 songs, because it's never just verse, bridge, chorus, and all that. There's like a ton of riffs mixed in there. And what I really this is something that I have done on a couple of my songs as well, but not to that extent. I like it when you actually have like different sounding verses, like also from an instrumental standpoint. Like there's a different chord progression, different like riffs, different tempo even, and I found that really fascinating. So like lots of like all the arrangements here, especially like for the final 5 songs, they also have they always, like, at least for me, were like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, and even 10 out of 10. So kudos to them for writing such cool songs from an arrangement point of view.
Suck it, Jeremy. I'm just
we'll see about that when we get to my CD there, Chance a lot. But Chancy, your CD, what were your top 5?
So I have one honorable mention for mine. It's In Defense of Our Good Name.
Oh, that's actually my number 1.
Nice! Yeah! My number 1 was your honorable mention, which is funny as fuck. For me, number 5 was Ruin. Number 4 was For Your Malice. Number 3 was As the Palaces Burn. Number 2 was Vigil.
Oh yeah,
and then
that's
obviously
also my number 2.
Nice. And then obviously my number 1 is 11th Hour. For me, the reason that I picked 11th Hour is kind of twofold. One, that fucking guitar riff is sick. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Like at first, if you play it into the drop D tuning, like if you're at it's like, I think it's like 12th and 13th set frets, you know, it's because it's literally just like it's 12 and 11. So it goes 12, 11, 12, 11. So yeah, it's like 12, 11, 12. So it goes 12, 11, 12. So like on the A string, 12, 11, E string 12, or D string anyway. It's just like it's like, but that's not how they play it. They play it down on the D and the A. So it's like when you find that out, you're just like, fuck, that makes it that much more difficult. It's always been the opposite for me when I was learning a song. Like I would play the song in the more difficult way, only to find out that no, they play it in this easy little simple la-di-da-di kind of thing, and then all of a sudden No.
Yeah. They play it like Slick Rick?
No. I was just, I didn't want to say la di da, but
Luddy-duddy. But all right, Phry, as a guest, what were your top 5 there? Even though we know part of
Okay, like number 1, or let's go from 5 to 1. So Blood Junkie is number 5 because the lyrics and also the drums, like the drumming is killer on that song. Number 4, Boot Scraper. This is like there's 3 songs where the lyrics got a 10 out of 10 for me, and Blood Scraper is one of them because it's just so like really nihilistic and like he's so right. Like this song is about people who just do what they're told and just like suck it up to the man every day of their lives, and it's so cool like the way he wrote about people like that. I really love that. Then Vigil is that's number 2. Number 3 is A Devil in God's Country.
Oh yeah, nice.
Like also the lyrics 10 out of 10, great stuff, and the guitars as well, a 9 out of 10 here for me, and also pretty great arrangement. So very solid song. Then number 2 is Vigil, especially like on that song, like that one has my like the guitar parts are my favorite on that song, and the arrangement. Like I like it when bands mix it up and try something different, because I like already told you that's also what I'm doing, and Vigil sounds so different from the rest, which is why I really liked it.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, it's a great song. And number 1 is In Defense of Our Good Name, because like arrangement and drumming is fantastic, and like also the lyrics and guitars. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't have any honorable mentions for your Chancy. Sorry there, but I actually had to struggle to think of a 5th song I liked. But number 5 for me was As the Palace Burns, because just the guitar intro to that song is freaking amazing. Like, and I do like the lyrics to it because it's very American. Number 4 for me is For Your Malice, because it made me think of Chancy, especially that one lyric, do you taste yourself every time? and like it made me think of Chancy. I'm like, Chancy, what are you into? But
yeah, I like that part of the lyrics also. Like that really got me like, whoa, yeah, that's pretty bad.
And like number 3 was Devil in God's Country, and that's the 5th one I actually added to the list because I was just like trying to think what 5th song to put in. And I was like, you know what, Devil in God's Country wasn't bad. Like I get that this album came out in like I think it was like 03 or something like that. So
yeah.
It was like right in the heat of like the Iraqi
Bush
war.
era.
Yeah, Bush era. So a lot of bands were putting out music about the same stuff at that point, and like Lamb of God hit it home with this album kind of. But number 2 was 11th Hour because I love the lyrics. Like,
yeah,
it made me think of my wife. Like the whole lyric, "My sweet demoness beckons me again and again."
You know that song's about alcoholism, right?
Yeah. I also read that on the lyrics website.
I do.
Where
I do.
I looked up.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I do.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, and I do call my wife my sweet demoness sometimes, so it works out. And
I feel like Kermit the Frog over here drinking this tea. Like it's none of my business.
you can do the voice better than that.
Oh, I can.
And number 1 for me was Purified.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Just because the freaking everything about it was amazing. I mean, the lyrics, the guitar, the drums, they're all like that song's just incredible. Like that was the best song on the CD in my opinion. And,
I don't know, man. I almost put Vigil as my number 1 just because of that dramatic drop, dude. I love how it starts off all super clean and fucking it lulls you into that false sense of security with it, and then all of a sudden, "Our Father, Thy will be done," and then it just fucking hits you in the face, and you're like, oh.
Well, Well, I mean, see, but I've listened to so many bands like this that I know what to expect when I hear that. Like, I know it's coming. Like, it's like when Cradle of Filth starts out a song with like a nice, like musical, lyrical, like melody in the beginning of the song, and like eventually Dane's is gonna drop it and be like, grrr. Like you
I
know,
mean, that's their MO.
It is. I mean, Ghost in the Fog is the prime example of that. Because
Ghost in the Fog, Gothic Romance, fucking like there's so many of those songs I could think of off the top of my head.
I gotta start bringing Cradle of Filth on more. I really do, but which I almost did for. If Chancy actually gave me his CD first, I probably would have. But we'll get to that in a second. But actually, fuck it, we'll get to it now. The reason I brought my CD, which my CD is, of course, Powerwolf's Return in Bloodred, their first actual album they did. And I will say that it's by far not my favorite Powerwolf album by any freaking means. It's a classic because it's their first one and because it's got a lot of amazing songs on it, but it's not my favorite because they were still trying to figure out their shit that time. But it's just Attila's voice is so unique and amazing. Like they were actually just in Worcester, Mass, like a month or two ago, and I missed my chance to see them on their first tour in America. So, because I just didn't have the money to go, and if I go to a concert without my wife, I'm not going to hear the end of it. So, as anybody who's married will tell you. So, like, I missed my chance to see them live, and they'll be back, I'm sure, because they sold out every freaking venue they went to. So I'm pretty sure they'll be back at some point. But it's just Attila's voice is the most amazing, like one of the most amazing voices I ever heard. Like the way he sings, and then I thought about the fact that Phry is actually from Germany after I picked it, because I've been seeing a lot of these songs from this album in my like Spotify like songs playlist like come up again and again, and that's why I brought it, because I've just been dying to bring it eventually. And I thought,
are they from Germany?
If I'm not mistaken, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a live version of Mr. Sinister where he's speaking in German, but he's speaking with a bit of a weird accent, and I thought this could have also been like an English-speaking guy, or like maybe someone from Scandinavia, like mimicking German.
I could be butchering this city name, but they're from Saarbrücken, Germany.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So
yeah, they were originally part of Red Aim. Mm-hmm. They were all part of Red Aim originally, and then the four of them decided to go start their own band, and that's where Powerwolf formed. And Attila Dorn's freaking voice though is just like it's almost like a preacher, like a European like preacher singing. That's the cool part, and they do feature like a preacher in pretty much every one of their music videos. Like the one guy in their band's dressed like a preacher for every video, and like it's always about him doing something that preacher shouldn't do. So, but I mean, I love Powerwolf. This is not the first time they've been on this show, and we will be doing a Powerwolf bracket eventually on this show. Don't get me fucking wrong, we will. But it's just that I love Powerwolf, and I don't even remember how the hell I found them. I think it was like recommended me on YouTube like years ago, and I just heard one song, and I'm like, okay, I gotta listen to all their music. And I did, and I was highly impressed. And I am part German, so like I do love German stuff a lot, like food, music.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I am. I'm part German. I mean, many generations ago, but I'm pretty sure we left before World War II. Thank God. But yeah. So I mean, it's just I don't know. Stuff like this just resonates in my soul, and Powerwolf does that. Like. And I like anything that's against religion, and they are highly against religion. So that's the other reason, is because I'm completely anti-religious, and at least religious as an organization.
Yeah, me too.
I have no problem with people being spiritual or religious themselves.
Right. Yeah. But I would also consider myself being kind of spiritual, but I kind of don't buy the idea of like God
One,
being
yeah.
personified, you know, because
Mhm.
that's what most organized religions do. They personify God and make him vengeful or bitter or even like really, I don't know,
Yeah, I mean,
like it's weird. Yeah.
it is. They people abuse it for their power. They abuse the name for the power,
It's
and
mostly
that's
politics more than like
it has
getting people to be enlightened.
since the beginning of civilization. You're 100% right. Yes, but when it was gods, they still used it for politics. So yeah, I mean, it's just the way it goes in this world. But so anything that's against religion, like Cradle of Filth or like Powerwolf or Lordy to some degree too in the earlier stuff,
Yeah.
I'm 100% for it. And Powerwolf's just one of my favorite bands too. Like Attila's voice just anytime they come on my freaking like library on Spotify, I can't turn it off. Like, and even though the CD's not my favorite, it still has a lot of great hits and it shows where they came from and they evolved into something even greater. But it shows where their roots were and it was very set in the early 2000s as what music was back then. So, but what did you think of them, Phry? Because I'm dying to hear a German man's impression of Powerwolf.
Yeah, like to be honest, from a lyrical standpoint, I couldn't take them seriously. I think it sounds pretty corny. Like it's, but like from a musical standpoint, it's pretty solid. Like my favorite song is Black Mass Hysteria. Because like especially the verse riffs are pretty cool and there's a great guitar solo on it and like that's always like my thing. And I also like the intro and also like they also have all in all like a couple of great arrangements on that album, which is cool.
If you listen to their newer stuff, they get even better with that. Like they get even they become more of like a in sync unit like with their newer stuff.
Yeah.
Like trying to think of the newest stuff. I mean, it's funny because they have like 3 or 4 albums now of just other European metal bands doing their songs. Like
I like a tribute record. Like
yeah, they have like they've been releasing them like every year now, just different artists from like everywhere in Europe doing their songs. Like it's incredible.
Cool.
It's incredible. Yeah. Like I mean, if you listen to them, you probably would recognize half the bands on there at least. I recognize half the bands. I don't even listen to those bands. I just know the names because they're famous European musicians. But I'm trying to think of the one. I can't even think of who it is. But the first one they did was the really incredible one because some of the female bands that do their songs, like the female metal bands, like these songs sound even better when they're sung by a female. That's just the way it goes. Like, I mean, I don't know. Hearing females sing about like how religion has wronged them, it always just sinks in more. Like I don't know why, but it does. I mean, I guess, well, the only thing that beat that probably is like a little boy singing about it because of the Catholic Church and all that over there. But
I hear you because he always he's going for the higher notes, and that would actually work really well with a female lead singer.
Yeah, I forget. I want to say it's Epic. I think Epica does one of their songs, it's incredible. But there's other ones too. I just can't think of who the fuck they are. And some of the names I can't say even because they're like German names and like or Finnish names. I can't even say like the name without like fucking it up somehow. But Chancy, you've heard Powerwolf before, but what did you think of their premiere album?
Well, I came up with 5.
Good job.
I mean,
Chancy. Good job. Cookie for you. Cookie for you.
It was. Also, having heard them before, I kind of knew what to get into. It's not bad. Like Phry was saying, it's good. It's really good arrangements, but he really kind of hit it on the head with the whole, not being able to take him seriously, kind of corny. And I never was able to verbalize that because I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was that just kind of pushed me off center with it. Like, because normally, a good band behind something will easily kind of push me across the finish line with it. But it's still like I've always had this tentative relationship with Powerwolf when you bring it on. Same thing with Nightwish and, I don't know. I'm not like it always reminds me kind of like a doom metal and like doom power metal, and that's not really my
Forte.
forte. Ball of wax. I mean it's
my forte. Like power metal is my thing. I love power metal. Like the band I brought for Tuesday's show is power metal, basically.
Yeah.
And I Camelot. But yeah, I mean, I love power metal. Like to me, it's just what music should be, especially like 80s power metal, 90s power metal is freaking incredible. Like it's fancy. It's all like songs about fantasy usually, and that's the best part. Like I want to bands like Lamb of God, like doing like albums like they did for this, the one we listened to. Like I like music to escape from reality, not be reminded of it.
Yeah, okay. So, I'm exactly the opposite. Like I love lyrics that I personally can identify with, and even though I'm like in general a big fantasy fan, I like Lord of the Rings, and I'm a huge science fiction nerd. Like I grew up on Star Trek, which I still love to this day, like old school Star Trek, not what they turn it into since 2009, but that's a whole other can of worms. I'm really into fantasy, like comic books and all that stuff. But when it comes to music, I'm more of a also gritty and lyrics that are
a realist.
That are realist. Right.
I mean, yeah. I can do that. Like I love System of a Down because they're political commentary, but like it's just I can't do it every day. Like I need to. Music is an escape from reality. Like when you get out of work and you put on music in your car, you want to escape from the fucking job you just fucking left, and like you want to just clear your head with people singing about random shit. Like there are many artists that have done CDs completely about Lord of the Rings that I love those CDs because it's just
like
it's
Blind Guardian.
Blind Guardian. Oh, I almost actually brought them for Tuesday's episode, but I like Blind Guardian. Demons and Wizards did a couple songs about Lord of the Rings as well, and I brought Demons and Wizards on here good 6 months ago maybe, but
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I love that type of stuff. Like, but it's just I like reality based music too, but I just can't do it 24/7. Like, I need a break. There's enough bad. I don't watch the news because I hate reality. Like,
no,
the reality we live in is fucking horrible.
I hear you.
So, music, video games, TV, it's all supposed to be an escape. Like, I don't want to watch or hear stuff that's going to remind me of the hellscape I live on a daily basis as is. And I'm not talking about my family there. I'm just talking about everything else in the world. But yeah, it's just the way it goes. I mean, that's my personal opinion. And that's why a lot of music I pick is more fantasy based. Like even Cradle of Filth, like they touch on reality once in a while, but a lot of their stuff is more like gothic fantasies. And like a lot of their songs are about sleeping with succubus and other random creatures of mythology. So I mean, it's just, that's just the way I feel. I mean, and yeah, Powerwolf was a little corny back then. I agree. Like their lyrics were a little corny, but they were going for something, and they evolved it into something a little better with their newer CDs. But let me ask you this, Chancy: between this CD and the CD I initially bought when Jamie was on the show months and months ago, which one do you like better? The one with Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Yes.
So the other one.
No, that's just kind of like, do you like this or is it this one or is it this one? Yes. Like I got nothing. I got nothing, dude. Like they're it's not that they're the same to me, because you can definitely tell how like your point that they progressed is definitely, they get that point across through that, but it's still kind of like in that thing. Because like I almost brought the album that has Omerta on it because of the monologue that Randy does before going into the song. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not, but it literally is the monologue is whoever appeals to the law against his fellow man is either a fool or a coward. For a wounded man shall say to his assailant, if I live, I will kill you. If I die, you are forgiven. Such is the rule of honor. And then they go into the song, and it's like it basically goes into like it just talks about, it's not a mafia kind of standpoint, although they use the term the phrase Omerta.
I was thinking of that. Yeah.
I mean, that was all like That's a mission in the first Mafia game. So yeah, that's the name of a mission in the first Mafia game. So that's what I was thinking of. But
It's
Yeah,
also
it's just basic-
being described in the novel The Godfather, like in the
Yeah.
novel version. Yeah,
I never read the actual novel. My grandmother had it when I
Oh,
was
the
a
novel's
kid. but
great. Yeah, I read it.
Oh yeah.
It's huge. That's why I didn't read it because it's freaking huge. Like
Yeah, but it's always
I mean,
entertaining.
I've read some big ass books in my time, but that book was huge. Like I didn't want to take it on for a summer because of that. But still, I mean, well, I did find 2 honorable mentions for this CD because yes, the CD is very corny, almost 80s style metal the way it is. I do agree with that, but I like that. Like to me, that's sometimes you just want like good verses and like a repeating chorus. Like sometimes you want that. Like it's just something you could sing along to in a way. Like I would do Powerwolf for karaoke, which I might be doing in a couple weeks. So I would do that. I'll make sure to videotape and put in the internet for everybody to see. But and I mean, my honorable mentions are actually 2 of the songs I would consider for karaoke because I can do them. Like some of their songs I couldn't do because they're just too complex, like with the voice change, with the vocal changes. But Black Mass Hysteria I could do because that's one of my honorable mentions because I do love that song. I mean, even though it's an honorable mention because it's just too chorus driven. But and my other honorable mention is funny because at the end of New Mutants, the movie that came out back in 2018.
Oh, you actually watched that?
I did watch it because it was actually not bad. I didn't think it was bad.
I was so disappointed after X-Men Apocalypse that I stopped watching the Fox X-Men movies.
If you like horror at all, it's actually not a bad superhero. It's like actually one of the first good superhero horror movies.
Okay.
Like I thought so at least. And if you read the New Mutant comic books like I have been for the last 15 years, like you know the characters and they actually do the characters very well.
That's true, but I do have to say, Phry, before you go to watch it, it's okay.
Okay.
Like it's not. I mean, it's not over the top, but it's really not. It's not the shits either. It's not the drizzle. It's not the drizzling shits by any means. But
I'm not saying it's as bad as like. I'm not saying it's as good as like X2 or X-Men, but it's definitely it's better than X-Men Apocalypse. I'll put that out there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's not hard to do.
I actually didn't mind X-Men Apocalypse too bad. I thought they did Apocalypse decently, but I mean they could have done it better.
Like when you like the Apocalypse from the comic books or even the TV show, like he was like a real menace.
Well,
like
you can't do that Apocalypse on a movie. That's the problem. It had to be
not if you're Fox or Bryan Singer, but if you're Marvel,
no shit.
I mean, you to really do Apocalypse right in the movies, you'd have to do it like over a trilogy and have him grow. Each movie and get better. Like Apocalypse is that kind of villain. You can't just do it over one movie.
He's like a Thanos. Yeah.
Exactly. It has to be built up.
Right.
Not just I'm back from the past and I'm going to take over the world. Like you can't do that. Yeah. Like the animated series is the best definition of the best Apocalypse ever.
Yeah.
Because they did him great in that, but
they gave him some background story and
exactly. You need background for Apocalypse. You can't just be like in the beginning of the movie, like, oh, he tried to take over Egypt and ancient Egypt, and then they stopped him. Like you got to build up. There could be a whole ancient Egypt movie about him, like literally.
But, like or maybe a short series, and then you introduce him in the movies or something like that.
Marvel, take notes. Disney Plus series for Apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably take another 10 years until they're there. You know, first they have to introduce the mutants themselves, and
which
that'll take a while.
Deadpool 3 is doing that, but
no, they just had to reuse Hugh Jackman because they're contractually obliged to have the same actors in their mutant roles until 2025, which is why Patrick Stewart was also playing Xavier.
Well, and Ian McKellen.
But they should though. I mean, I am all for them keeping the X-Men cast in the original 3 movies. I am all for
Hugh Jackman is now way too old for that. Like Wolverine he's in his 50s now.
They can dye his hair. Wolverine doesn't age. But
but like from a physical standpoint, it's really hard on him.
Get a stunt double. I'm sure he has one. But I mean, the whole point of this detour here was my other honorable mention should have been played during the end credit scene of New Mutants, because my other honorable mention is Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, and I mean he's from the comics as well.
Don't get me started on Nathaniel Essex. All right, come on.
He's one of the
No,
best
they're
villains in
never
X-Men
gonna.
ever.
Dude, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying that if they ever try to do that, they're never gonna get it right. There's no like whether it's Disney or Fox, they're gonna fucking shit the bed. Like there's
Yeah.
so much nuance and like
All they need is the right actor. All they need is the right actor.
no
But
like
also make it R-rated.
Oh yeah,
And that's
That-
a big problem with Marvel, with like Disney Marvel.
and then on top of that,
Deadpool 3.
you would also
They're saying a president.
yeah, but I'm saying like much like Apocalypse, he would need a multi-movie
TV series. Give all the X-Men villains TV series before you put them on. I mean, don't give one to
cool.
don't give one to Mojo and Arcade, obviously, but give it to the good villains.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, even Mojo. Give the Mojoverse a fucking TV show because it'd be funny. But that's what I'm saying. Like, give Mojo and Longshot their own show, which at one point Longshot was supposed to have a show. But
As long as they don't fuck it up like they did with MODOK.
Yeah, oh Jesus Christ.
Wait a minute. Are you talking MODOK cartoon or MODOK Ant-Man Quantumania?
No, Ant-Man Quantum.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm like, the cartoon wasn't bad. The cartoon was pretty good.
I haven't seen that, but I heard good things about it.
Patton Oswalt.
It's Patton Oswalt, right? Yeah.
Patton Oswalt is amazing voice actor for MODOK. Like amazing, and they did it like MODOK trying to have a family at the same time and everything too. It's amazing. Like Hulu did such a good job with that shit. Like I wish they gave Kevin Smith his Howard the Duck show he was supposed to get. But moving on.
Yeah.
Because I could do a whole show about Marvel, but my number 5 was it's been in the works for a long time. I'm working on getting there. But number 5 was Son of the Morning Star. Because it's not even really a song, but I love the idea of it. Like I love like the whole the idea of like the back mythological story to Lucifer. I love like Paradise Lost. I love that fucking book. I love that. Any audiobooks I've heard of that. I love the iterations they do of it. Like it's an amazing story. And like the way that Powerwolf does it is good too. Because number 5 was Son of the Morning Star. Number 4 is The Evil Made Me Do It, which I know is a Judas Priest cover, but still, like, they did a good job on it, I think. Attila did a really good job with the vocals on it. Number 3 is Montecore, because I love that song. Like, I love the guitar. I love the vocals on it. And if I'm not mistaken, it's about a famous tiger attack in like an Indian city. Oh. I think it's what it's about. If I'm not mistaken, I could be thinking of another song. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. So, like, it's pretty cool the way they do it. But and then number 2 kind of ties into number 5 because it's Lucifer and Starlight. Because that was one of the first songs I ever heard by Powerwolf 2 was that one, and it's just like Lucifer and Starlight. Like anything to do with Lucifer, like the idea of like the mythological story, like I love it. Like it's just, and I love like how in the beginning, how it's like the kind of like the cicadas and it's like that creepy noises, and it's just like something if I heard when I was a kid, it probably would scare the shit out of me. But like Cradle Filth did the first time I heard him. But and number 1, of course, is We Came to Take Your Souls. Cause that song, Dead Boys Don't Cry, Vampires Don't Die. Like I love when Powerwolf does those type of songs where it's like, yeah, it's a corny fucking 80s rock song basically, but it's a good one though. That's the thing. Like it's topics I like, and it's just the way Attila sings it is perfect. Like, and I think We Came to Take Your Souls is actually one of the songs that another artist redid for them because they've done like 4 of those albums now. They have a 5th one coming out, and it's just like. Because people love Powerwolf. Like Powerwolf has a huge following in Europe, especially. In America, they're getting huge too now because they've been selling out every concert. But in Europe, they're freaking amazingly huge because, I mean, I've seen videos of their concerts. Their concerts are freaking like when they perform at Wacken and stuff like that. It's just like a huge crowd and like they're all loving it. I mean, especially the fact that they all put on like their wolf skins and go out there and like howl between songs and shit. Like it's just they play the theatrics of it, which is. What I like about bands is when they play theatrics. That's why I like Cradle of Filth. I saw them live in 2009 as well. That's why I like no, Nightwish doesn't really do theatrics like that. But other bands like that, like even Guar, like with a chance.
I was gonna say, if you don't say Guar, I'm gonna fucking lose a goddamn gasket, dude. I was like, if he doesn't say Guar, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. I swear to God.
Like when Chancy introduced me to Guar, I actually watched videos of like some of their concerts and stuff, and like the stuff they do on stage. I mean, I didn't get squirted with no fake dick like Chancy did, but
Technically, I didn't either. It was kind of like a secondary, splashback.
he still got to come on you, but he still took his fluid, buddy. But yeah, Chancy happened to be behind the only girl in the concert, so he kind of knew what happening.
Yeah. So like, well, okay. If we're gonna do it, let's do it right. So like, I'm at the show, and he has this giant fucking cod piece, is what it is, and it's got like a hose, and they squirt all the fake semen out of it, and he always, like I'm looking around as he's coming out, and I look, and in front of me are these two extremely short people. So like technically you could say I'm into the third row, but really I'm kind of like the second row because they're so fucking small. It's just like a giant window for me to watch the whole show. And I'm looking, and I noticed that she's the only girl in the front row because like she was on the rail and her boyfriend was behind her, and I'm standing there behind them, and I'm just kind of like, oh, this isn't good. Like, this is not going to be good. And he's like, who wants me to come on there first? And she's all like, ah! And he just fucking unleashes the fury, right? And it's just hitting her, and it's just, up, over, and back. So, like, up, over, and back, and then I'm, like, right here. So I'm just like, I just got to go like this. I'm like, it isn't real. It isn't real. It's not real. It's not real. I couldn't duck. It was one of those things where everybody's all kind of crammed in because everybody's crowding the rail. So like I'm standing there, and it's just like I just gotta cover up so I'm not getting it on my glasses because like I can't wipe my fucking glasses off. And the whole time I'm like, this isn't real. It's not real. It isn't real. The dude's stoked. He's like, orders came on my girlfriend. It's like, dude. Like, that's cool, but like, shit, don't be so fucking like, fuck, man.
Well, now you know how all the juggalos feel when the juggalettes go into Violent J's van, but which he's been catching some heat for that lately, actually. But because supposedly he's supposed to check ID before they go in his van, but no rock star does that, so why would he?
I don't know why they wouldn't. That's just stupid.
Because he's been doing the same thing since the fucking early 90s when he didn't have anybody with him, like, to check, to do, like, be security. Like, if they want to come on the bus, he's not going to say no, same as any. You think Ozzy Osbourne said no until Sharon came around?
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne probably couldn't say anything until Sharon came around, all right? At least intelligibly.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, no, I don't think that's true, at least in the beginning. But, I mean, in the Motley Crue book, they toured with him in England, and he was walking around in a sundress, pissing everywhere.
Yeah,
he does that in the movie as well, and he's snorting ants.
Snorting ants, snorting piss. Yeah, dude, it's yeah.
And then like they actually talk in the book about how Sharon came along and like dragged him off the street, but basically, it's a whole thing with Ozzy. But all right, Phry, as a guest, what are your top 5 for Powerwolf?
All right. Honorable mentions first, Son of the Morning Star, because it's it's a different approach, which I like. It's also like pretty cheesy, but I like the piano on it, and it's a different vibe from the rest of the album, which I enjoy. Number 5, Kiss of the Cobra King, because of the solo part. It's a great solo.
Oh, somebody redid that too. I can't remember who it is. I gotta look it up now because that's not pissing me off, but that's a song I'm actually not a huge fan of. But who did that?
Don't mind him. Just keep. I was gonna say, don't mind him. Just keep going.
I'll find it. But don't worry.
Yeah, you'll find it out in the meantime. Number 4, Lucifer and Starlight, because it's the most impressive singing, like especially the chorus, and I like the tremolo guitar in the intro and in the interlude. I always like the surprising stuff on a record and stuff that's out of the ordinary, and that like especially that guitar part caught my ear, so to speak. Number 4, Mr. Sinister, because the arrangement is cool and it's kind of catchy, you know, like a pretty catchy chorus.
It is. Yeah.
Number 2, Manticore, because it has a great riff and great chord progressions, and the overall song structure is also pretty cool. And then number 1, Black Mass Hysteria. Yeah, because of the solo as well, and like the guitar riffs, especially in the intro and verses.
Well,
yeah.
See, Black Mass Hysteria, that's the thing. Like, I'm a big fan of like the Iron Maiden, like when they do like the I don't even know what to call it, but like almost like yodeling, but like kind of like like the bellowing kind of sound they do, and like Iron Maiden did it, and like a lot of bands I like do it. But I mean, and like almost like the monk chanting type stuff, like that's what when Powerwolf does that, it's freaking incredible. Like that's one of the things I love about them. But and I did find it, and it's Kiss of the Cobra King was redone by Chris Harms from Lord of the Lost, and from Die Creator and Harms and Capel. Like he's from a lot of bands, but he's the one who he redid it on one of their cover albums they did.
Ah, cool.
And you actually should check it out because it's a little more metal even the way he does it.
Okay, can you send me like a link to it?
Yeah.
Like maybe in the chat here.
I'll send it here right on Instagram.
Ah, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out later.
Yeah, but I mean, so yeah, I mean, see, I wanted to bring Powerwolf again, but I didn't want to bring like one of their newer albums. I'm like, if I'm gonna keep bringing them on, I have to bring something like their first album. I have to honor them and their first album. Like that's what it is. Like, because I could have brought Bible of the Beast. I could have brought a lot better albums, but
I think I have to check out one of their later albums now, since you said that they definitely progressed in like some form.
I recommend either the album I brought on the first time I brought them on the show, Sacrament of Sin, or Called the Wild. Those are the two newest. Those are like two of their newest actual albums, because they've been doing a lot of albums where it's lives or people covering their stuff lately with COVID and everything. So, but Sacrament of Sin is one of my favorite albums of theirs. It just came out when I got into them, and it really got me into that album. Like it really did. Like before that, they were like just another band I liked. That album launched them over the top for me. Like Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend is one of the best songs I've ever heard.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
And their music videos, like that's what really got me into them too. Is that their music videos are freaking incredible. And like just the way Attila literally walks through the videos and just like sings, and like just like it seems like he's barely putting any effort into singing like that. It's like, how do you sing like that without putting effort into it? Like it's some of it's almost operatic in a way, like Nightwish does. But I mean, that's just the way I feel. But well, we covered all 3 CDs, and what, Chancy, you think we didn't?
I didn't give my top 5.
You didn't give yours. Fuck. Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I'll just go fuck myself. It's cool.
Well, as long as you teach yourself afterwards, Chancy.
I mean, you already said you picked 5, so let's.
I know, right? I got 5. You know, shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck. He's all like, "Oh, we went over them all." It's like,
okay.
I saw your face. I saw your face. I'm like, what? I forget. I'm like, and then like halfway through my sentence, I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, if you say that and I'm looking at you sideways, odds are I haven't went.
Yeah, I got into it pretty fast, but I was like, oh, wait a minute. Well, I'm gonna finish what I'm saying, then let Chancy have his little outrage, and let him go.
It's not much of an outrage. So for me, number 5 was Son of the Morning Star. It's kind of funny because between both of your guys' top 5, that's pretty much most of my top 5. Like I said, number 5 is Son of the Morning Star. Number 4 is The Evil Made Me Do It. Number 100%. For the most part, there's a lot of us that matched like dead on. Number 3 was Demons and Diamonds. Nobody actually had mentioned that one.
See,
That would have almost been an honorable mention for me.
Almost. I didn't. When I listened to the CD yesterday, I didn't remember that song even. Like that was just one of the songs that like got swept underneath. It never comes up on replay on like my library. I don't know why.
Number 2 was Lucifer and Starlight.
Yep.
And then number 1 was We Came to Take Your Souls.
So everything except number 3 we matched.
Yeah.
Like, see, We Can't Take Your Souls, like just, I love it because the way he sings the chorus and then like they hit the guitar as soon as he hits that last note, like they blast him with the guitar again. It's just like, oh, like, like to see them live would be like one of the greatest concerts I've ever been to, probably. Like it just would be like right up there with Cradle of Filth, right up there with Nightwish, right up there with Insane Clown Posse, like. Because you want to talk
do they tour the States often?
No, they just did it for the first time this year.
Oh.
They literally they toured Germany like crazy, but
okay,
they do all the festivals all summer long in like Europe, but because that's one thing you guys are lucky about is you guys have a shitload of festivals in Europe. We don't have that here.
Yeah, but they get more and more expensive, and it's so hard to like even afford them. It's
it is
especially the bigger ones. It's ridiculous now. Like I stopped going to the big festivals like 15 years ago because
I mean, yeah, it is like America then. Okay.
Yeah. And nowadays, like all the major labels, they discovered this thing called dynamic pricing now, which is like when once tickets are being sold and there's a huge run for them, they put up the prices right away. And I think they're now kind of digging their own graves by doing that. Because like most people can't afford to go to these like big events anymore.
But there's always enough people that will, and there's always enough Americans that will fly over there and pay the ticket prices to go. Because there's these spoiled American teenagers and 20-something-year-olds who have mommy and daddy's credit card and will go pay to go to Europe and watch these bands play, like in a festival.
Yeah, but for how long?
Well, the way American rich families go until they die. Like they don't. American wealthy families don't go away. They stay around forever. Like they've been around for generations. That's just the way it goes. But that's why they're rich.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the same here. But I think like projections for independent music and independent concerts are far more optimistic than they are for mainstream or major label stuff.
Look at the whole fucking Taylor Swift thing in America lately. Like where like she broke Ticketmaster because of how high the prices were for her concert and people trying to like afford it. Like like everybody went to Ticketmaster to buy her tickets and like they found out how much they were and they're like, oh fuck that. Like the diehard fans, I'm sure found a way to pay for it, but it's still like if you're charging, I mean, I like to use Insane Clown Posse as my reference here because they still charge like $30-$40 a ticket. Like they never go up.
Wow. And how are they doing that?
Because they're independent. They run their own label. So they run their own label.
Like, back in the day, even now. like Pearl Jam tried to to go against Ticketmaster and they lost because they have such a huge like lobby and influence and like even independent artists have to kind of work with them. I wonder how they're doing that.
I mean, they sell through their own. I mean, there are other sources in America, at least, other than Ticketmaster to get tickets. I mean, I was looking at a Styx concert recently and a Ailstorm concert. That's on my birthday, actually, which I'd love to see them live. But and I went to one website and it was like $90, $100 a ticket. I went to the actual official website and it was like $30-$40 a ticket.
Wow.
If you go through the venue, especially if it's a smaller venue, they usually have a lot of cheaper ticket prices. Like because like they don't have the markup that Ticketmaster or Pay or Stub, whatever the fuck it is, has. Like it's if you go through the venue, it's usually cheaper. And I mean, so that's the way I've seen it at least. And because I mean, I was looking at concerts this year I want to go to, but I got kids, so I don't get to go anywhere anymore because no one wants to watch the kids. So. And if I go without my wife, unless I'm going with like a work buddy or something, then she's not going to be down for it because she's going to be like, "Oh, you're saying go there and hook up with all the women." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm such a Tom Cruise lookalike that I can women left and right, you know." It's just, but it's, I mean, But Insane Clown Posse is always cheap tickets because they've been that way forever, and they're not going to change because they want their fans to be able to afford to come to their shows. And
That's great. That's a great approach.
Which I don't know if they tour Europe. I think they used to, but I don't think they do it that much. They do it once in a while. I think they just did one. If I'm not mistaken.
They're not as big over here as they're in
They-
the US.
They used to be. They used to be.
Yeah.
Because I mean, back in the day, yeah. Because I mean, we had a guy from England on the show, a comedian, a stand-up comic from England on the show, and like he was like, "Oh yeah, I was a juggalo when I was younger." Like, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, because I brought like a Twisted CD, and he was like, and like, I didn't expect him to know who Twisted was, and he's like, "They sound like Insane Clown Posse." I'm like, "You know who Insane Clown Posse is, and you're from Europe? What?" So, I mean, if you consider England Europe, it's debated, I know, but
yeah, I mean, it pretty much is.
I was gonna say I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, it may be its own island.
Exactly, they're their own island, basically. Like,
so then what? Hawaii's not a part of the United States because it's a fucking island? Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
I'm pretty sure they don't want to be, but yeah.
They
had no choice.
It's not about what they want, all right? It's about what it is.
We made that pretty damn clear in the early 1900s when we went there and pretty much said, "You're part of us now." But
yeah, but I think like culturally, it's still very much different, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they
yeah.
kept a lot. They kept a lot of their culture for sure.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing because their culture is amazing. I mean,
Absolutely.
On the paranormal side alone, their culture is amazing as well. But I mean, that's the side of their culture I know the most is the paranormal side, and it's incredible. It's incredible, and I just watched The Bounty recently, and they actually go to like islands near to Hawaii and stuff, and it's just the culture over there is always amazing in all those islands. But
you got a pretty nice view at space over there in the mountains.
Yeah.
Just don't take any rocks or anything from the volcanoes. That's all I can say, because bad things happen if you do. I've heard enough stories.
Oh.
The spirits in Hawaii don't like people taking things from the island and taking them back to the mainland.
I mean, I wouldn't do that out of respect for like the culture anyway.
I mean, people think they take a rock like that, like a rock from a volcano that like they take like a little rock and they think it's not gonna be a big deal, and then it's like freaking taking a picture of Robert the Doll, like you become haunted almost. So now we have finished all 3 CDs, right, Chancy?
I believe so, yes.
Which brings us to the end of this episode, which it's been a good one. We hit an hour and a half, and when that happens, it's always a great episode. So,
oh, for sure, man.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it.
And and to get a German musician on is amazing. And for anybody who watches this video and replay over the next week or so, be sure to listen to the podcast because it'll be beginning and ending with one of Phry's songs.
Oh, cool.
So.
Oh yeah, you might want to get permission from the artist. I don't know.
No, absolutely. I didn't know you did that. I like it. That's cool.
I don't ask permission to fucking like Nightwish and Insane Clown Posse to end the song.
Yeah, but the difference is that this artist is willing to speak to you.
I'm pretty sure
which artist wouldn't want their music to be played? Like it's good promotion. No, you can't play my music. I don't want people to listen to it.
It's not the artist usually; it's the label.
Yeah, but I'm an independent
royalties.
Artist. Yeah,
because I mean, I happened to do karaoke at the end of one of my paranormal shows of Styx's "Come Sail Away," and next thing we know, Universal Music Group took down the video.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays with everything being tracked, they would get their percentage anyway. So it's also good promotion for them. And like if it's on YouTube, they get paid either way. So I don't understand why they block videos because of that. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I don't get it. It's people showing love for the bands they represent. You should be appreciative of that. But
sure,
whatever. Companies are going to do what they're going to do. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
But we were happy to have Phry on because it's been an amazing episode, and we got to experience his music today too, which was awesome. And I actually add all your music to my liked list on Spotify, so it plays in my repeats. So
sweet.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, like it's been so cool talking to you guys, and like if you ever do like some of that nerdy stuff that you were talking about, like a comic book episode or something, count me in because I'm all about that stuff.
Nice.
Nice. I've had an idea for a show for a while, and it might come to fruition eventually. I've been busy lately with work and whatnot, and dogs that need expensive surgeries. But I will definitely be working on getting there eventually as our platform of podcast grows. But
hopefully we can get you back on this show even someday.
Someday.
Yeah.
100%. I mean,
sure.
we're booked out till end of June or July at this point, but we'll definitely get you back on. We're starting to be able to have repeat guests here and there, so we can definitely do it.
Sweet.
But
yeah,
your
that'd be
music,
great.
of course. And to all the fans of the Musers, we'll be back on our regularly scheduled night on Tuesday with the guest name escapes me at this moment. But why am I even saying that when I have it in front of me, basically?
Yeah, I was going to say, why didn't you just look it up, dude?
Because I had something else ready to go. But we'll be back with CJ Plain, who is another musician, but as a lot of our guests are going to be coming up. And he decided to bring Celdweller to
Celdweller.
Celdweller, yeah, that's what it is. I see. Yeah, like this is like the third time I looked at that name and I couldn't put it together until like a second after I said it. But Celdweller will be coming up. He decided to bring on, and we came back at him with Camelot and the Melvins.
The Melvins.
Ooh.
Which I never heard of. So Chancy's like, okay, I'm definitely bringing that then if you never heard of it. But
that's a great band.
Fuck yeah, dude, that's awesome.
I was Googling them, so I figured they might. I've seen the love for them, so I gotta check them out. And their album cover intrigues me. But
I actually almost brought them for this Tuesday with with all that grunge.
So we will be back on Tuesday with CJ Plain, who is very much looking forward to the show. And until then, though, we want to thank Phry one more time for coming on. It's been awesome. And we will catch you guys next time. Say goodbye, Chancy.
Aren't we going to tell them where they can find us? Starting with our guest.
See,
are you having a fucking stroke, dude?
I've been in a fucking animal hospital for like every night after work for like 4 or 6 hours.
Yeah,
so
okay. You've been in an animal hospital, but you haven't been in a fucking morgue, dude. Come on.
It feels like it. It fucking feels like it. But Phry, where can they find your music and where can they find you?
Well, you can find my music basically on every streaming service and then on YouTube. So if you just look up my name, Phry McDunstan, you can find it pretty much everywhere. I'm also on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok because I'm not feeling it. And also on Facebook. Well,
maybe you should give TikTok a chance. The Musers have almost 1,000 likes on TikTok, but TikTok is making us grow.
Yeah, but it's so addictive.
Not really.
I don't look at it like I don't recreationally look at TikTok. I just basically like whenever Jeremy throws up a short, I just repost it and then just get the fuck out of there. Just like it's kind of.
I use it like a porn substitute sometimes, but that's
Jesus Christ.
That's basically what it is, dude.
That's what it's for.
Most of it is women like freaking doing the mirror thing where they swipe the mirror 3 times, and all of a sudden they're in a bikini or bra and panties or some shit. Like, it's all women showing off their bodies half the time. So
that's cool.
And it also is a cool source for paranormal videos of people like getting EVPs and videos of either Sasquatch or Loch Ness or something like that. Like, there's some cool clips of that shit on there too. So it has its benefits, and I mean, if you get turned on by Loch Ness, then you got 2 in 1. So there you go. But good old Nessie, she's got a long neck. But Chancy, where can they find you?
The Book of Faces. My Instagram and my TikTok is the Red Eye Roundtable. Twitter is Red Eye Table. The depths of the void. Just chilling, doing the thing.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Bucker for our weekend edition. But you can, of course, find both of us on Facebook as Paranormal the New Normal / Maniacal Music Musings podcast group. New name coming soon. We need to work on that. You can find us on Twitter and the Gram as that Juggalo Bester Podcast. or at Juggalo Bastard. And then you can find us on TikTok as that Juggalo Bastard Podcast, where all our shorts are uploaded and full episodes are uploaded too in parts as well. Because I have so many episodes of this show to do, I don't get to put my paranormal show up there ever, which we need to start working on that. But you can also find us on YouTube as Maniacal Music Musings, where this podcast is being streamed right now. And until next time, say goodbye, Chancy.
Goodbye, Chancy.